Pumbaa, are you nuts?
Good morning, everyone. This is Financial Literacy 101. We're not doing a financial video today, but we're all going to talk about the white supremacists who actually stormed the U.S. Capitol. These race soldiers, these white supremacists, they would like to trump it up as Trump supporters, but they are in the reinforcement of white supremacy. See, no one talks about the Republic. Everybody always wants to talk about that this is a democratic nation, that they're stopping democracy. Now, in the Constitution, we need to understand once again, over and over again, the word democracy does not present itself in our Constitution, in the Code of Conduct, in the Emancipation Proclamation. The word democracy is not present. You do not see the word democracy. You see the word republic. This is a republic. And these white supremacists right here are showing you what it is to take back the government. Now, I wonder if these people were black. If they were black, what would have occurred to these people right here? What would have occurred to these Trump supporters, white supremacists, race soldiers? What if these were black people scaling the Capitol walls? What would have happened to these white supremacists who are trying to stop the transfer of power from Donald Trump to Joe Biden? Now, I don't care about neither one of the presidents, president-elect or the president's current, but what I care about is the treatment of melanated people in this country. And this goes to show you right here that the people who wear the badges, not all of them, are for white supremacy. Because we wouldn't have got to the Capitol walls. You know why? This is what we would have seen. We would have seen a slew of National Guard soldiers standing in front of the Capitol, standing in front of the Lincoln Memorial, pepper spraying, beating, tasering, killing, murdering melanated people. That's what you would have seen. See, we march in the streets for what? Justice, equality, empowerment. They march in the street to take back the government. That's what you see here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, do you think you would have seen white people laying down inside of the Capitol building? Do you think you would have seen this? Hell no. Do you think that you would have seen Secret Servicemen barricade inside of an office, not shooting people who are storming the Capitol, where the congressmen, the senators, the representatives, the lobbyists, assistants, all of these government officials, do you think they would have barricaded themselves inside of here without firing one shot? Do you believe this? Do you believe this? Do you think that the police would have been toying around like this, playing tug of war with a barricade against black people? Do you think that? Do you think that? Or do you think they would have had their guns, tasers, batons, pepper spray, fighting, flipping? They don't even have, most of these don't even have on true riot gear. This is happening in my hometown, so it's close to home here, because I know how they treat black people in D.C. I know how they treat black people in D.C., and this is how they treat us. This is how they treat us. But see, they don't treat the white supremacists like this. And some of you are going to say, well, all of these people who stormed the Capitol was not white, but they are in support of white supremacy. See, anytime you interfere with the transfer of power, you are now a terrorist. See, we call the Russian hackers and we call the people from the Middle East terrorists. But see, when they're homegrown terrorists, when they have white complexion, when they're Anglo-Saxon, when there are Caucasian, where there are hybrids, we call them protests and rioters. But some government officials like to call the Black Lives Matter movement as black terrorists. They would like to call the Black Panther Party terrorists. Wait a minute. Did the Black Panther Party ever storm the Capitol? Did they? This is funny. Look at this picture. Look at this picture right here. This guy is inside of the Capitol with a bunch of Trump supporters all in the Capitol. I have never, ever been past the front door of the Capitol. And I was a U.S. Marine stationed in 8th and 9th Barracks. But look at these guys. They stormed the Capitol. Not only did they vandalize the Capitol, but they went inside of certain offices like Nancy Pelosi. And then when they left, they said, you didn't take this back from us. We gave it back to you. They stopped the transfer of power from Donald Trump to Joe Biden. But again, at 3:45 a.m. this morning, Congress then transferred because these guys were pretty much gone. See, we can learn something from this, people. B1, we can learn something from this black family. You may not agree with what they've done, but they were unified. They were unified on a common cause. See, the problem is the reason why we'll never get reparations is because we're not like that. We're not unified on a common cause. We don't have an agenda. They had an agenda. We're going to stop the transfer of power on January 6th. We're going to storm the Capitol. They don't care who their employer was. Most of them, if you notice in this picture right here, they're showing their face. Can I get this picture bigger? Let me see if I can get this picture bigger. They're showing their face. They don't care. These white supremacists don't care because they run this country. I can't even count one single person with a mask on. I can't even count one single person with a mask on. And they're letting you know who won, even though we know eventually Joe Biden is going to be president, but we can learn something from this. If you notice something, if you want power in any country, in any nation, you have to take it. This is their way of showing you that they take it. But let's look on the upside of this. If they were black, if they were black, if they were black, look how subdued we are. Let me show you some other stuff. If they were black, here we are rioting, protesting, peacefully on most occasions, but they used tear gas, they used pepper spray, they incarcerated us. Our protest is so different, it's ridiculous. But why is it that we, in the face of opposition, we get National Guard soldiers, but they rarely get any police resistance? Now, some people say, well, did the National Guard get called? Yeah, the National Guard got called, but did they intervene? No, they did not. How do you infiltrate the Capitol, where all the high political officials operate and conduct business? Now, some of you may say, oh, well, they didn't know they were coming. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Hundreds of people with Make America Great Again, waving American flags, showing you up and down the streets in Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not familiar with Washington, D.C., Washington, D.C. is damn near the headquarters for everything. The FBI headquarters is there. You got the D.C. police. You got the Capitol Police. You got the CIA right around the corner in Langley, Virginia. You got the NSA, National Security Agency in D.C. We have all of these intel agencies. You don't think that they knew that the Trump supporters were coming to the Capitol? But what they said was, they're not black people. They're not Hispanic people. They're not going to do anything. Are you serious? The recent history shows us Remember that white supremacy group that was going to kidnap I think it was the Minnesota mayor? Remember the day prior to yesterday that the Proud Boys went onto the Capitol and was testing the police? See, this is what we call it a military reconnaissance. They recon how they was going to react. This is the same tactic that the other terrorists in the Middle Eastern used. When we used to go on what they call MSRs, main supply routes, the terrorists used to put roadside bombs or dumb roadside bombs to see where our procedures were, how we was going to react. This is the same thing that the Proud Boys did the day prior to all these white supremacist domestic terrorists storming the Capitol building in the United States Capitol. This is what they did the day prior. They came on the Capitol and they're like, it was very, very low police. Not National Guard, not Army, not Marines, not Navy, not Air Force, not Coast Guard, resistance. Very low resistance. So they say, hey, well, let's go. We know their tactics. We know their procedures. And this is what you get in the hall of the Capitol, right here. This guy got a freaking raccoon or head with tattoos, and I don't know what the hell's going on. But if they were black people, we wouldn't have made it inside the Capitol because we'd be dead. We will be dead. Look at this guy right here. He just having a ball. I believe he's inside Nancy. Let me blow this up. Let me see if I can get this blown up. This is Nancy Pelosi's office, I believe. He got his foot up all on the table. You think we would have made it this far? Hell no. Look at this. When have you seen white people so damn scared? Everybody's bending down, crouching down behind the barrier inside the Capitol. This is the Capitol. This is supposed to be the second most secure building in the United States of America, the most powerful country in America. The first most secure place when it comes to our political officials is the White House. The second is the Capitol. This is where they conduct the business for the country. But you had a mob, you had a group, you had hundreds of terrorists standing on police vehicles. Now, during the Black Lives Matter movement, there were some police vehicles that was burnt up, but you didn't see them just standing on it for a long time in front of the Capitol. This is utterly ridiculous. Then you got these guys. What are they doing? They have when have you seen the Secret Service barricade themselves somewhere on a freaking movie? This is the movies, but this is our nation that we live in. And some of you may not believe that racism still exists because President Barack Obama was president. But I got a question for you guys. You're not going to like it. I don't care if it's not popular. What did President Barack Obama do for black people? Don't worry, I'll wait. Oh man, you know he did affordable health care. He did that for everybody. Did he take away implied immunity from the police so when they can stop killing black people? Did he do that? No, he did not. He made the Blue Shield law to give police more protection. So people voted. I'm not gonna say you guys, but people voted in Donald Trump. Did he wipe away implied immunity? No, he did not. You voted in Joe Biden. You're not going to like it. You're not going to like it. But this is what you get. This is what we all get. Because voting in Joe Biden, guess what he didn't do? He's going to increase the police budget. He is not going to wipe away implied immunity. So what that means is when my brothers and sisters, my family members, whether it be in Washington, D.C., my hometown, Chicago, Detroit, L.A., Birmingham, Alabama, all the major black cities, when our people get killed in the street, remember what you voted for. I know it's not popular. This is just the other side of white supremacy. You got a right side of white supremacy and you got a left side of white supremacy. What is the difference in these domestic terrorists and the domestic terrorists on the opposite side. So this is the right side of white supremacy. Have you noticed most legislation for black people have not changed? Have you noticed when you voted in Joe Biden, none of the legislation will not change? We're getting killed in the streets each and every day. But these guys can storm the Capitol with little police resistance. This is utterly ridiculous. See, when we get up on statues, they pull us down. They pull us down. They're snatching the barricades. They're doing this, that, and the other. And I know a lot of you got a lot to say, and I'm gonna address some of your comments because I want to see what you guys are saying. But this is damn near funny to me. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna disagree with me. You're gonna disagree with me with this as well. I'm glad it happened because now the world can see. Wait a minute, we had black people and people in support of black people for justice, for equality, for tangibles, marching in the streets in the opposition of police brutality. People came up missing, people got jailed, people got imprisoned, people got pepper sprayed, people got baton, some people got shot, some people got killed. And even after all of these protests that pretty much came from George Floyd, but nonetheless, all the people who died from Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, the list goes on, Michael Brown, the list continues to go on and on of all of our black people who are getting killed in the streets for absolutely nothing. And most of these people, 99% of the black people who got killed from Barack Obama to Donald Trump was unarmed. They were unarmed. See, this is the veil of white supremacy. They put blackface in white places. They put blackface in white places and say, oh, everything is peachy keen over here. Everything is just fine. But see, some of you are like, oh, those are Republicans. Not all Republicans are white. You got black Republicans, Hispanic Republicans, white Republicans. Well, those Trump supporters. There was black people who voted for Trump. Well, those white domestic terrorists. Oh, okay. But some of you like to listen to CNN and MSNBC all the time, and that's just regurgitating the Democratic and Republican talking points. And they say, we live in a democracy. I want you guys to actually be intelligent for one time in your damn life and go read the Constitution and tell me where you see the word democracy. We live in a republic. When you vote in somebody, they have all the power until you vote for them again. And the Democrats, whether the Democrats or Republicans, I'm non-political. So don't feel like, oh, you're just a Republican. No, I'm not. I don't freaking care. Because if you notice, it don't matter. If you look at history, there's been voter fraud all over the board. Do I know there was voter fraud? Probably so. It's damn near been voter fraud since I can remember. See, here's the problem with us. We get so damn emotional that we don't understand the facts. We don't go and do this. It's called research. Voter fraud. When we go back and we look at history, voter fraud 1982, 100,000 fraudulent ballots were cast in 1982. Who became president off this voter fraud? Ronald Reagan. 1994. Alabama, 2003, Chicago again, 2004. It says here a worker associated, where is it at? With the NAACP National Voter Fund in Ohio pleaded guilty to 10 felony counts for filing false voter registration during 2004. This is not the only time voter fraud has occurred or someone accused voter fraud. It has happened with the Republicans as well as the Democrats. And what you have to do is you have to go back and say, well, wait a minute. What demographic was this country? So 1984, when Ronald Reagan won, the country was 99% Republican, except for DC and Minnesota. And this will show you, I'll blow it up. But when we go down to 2004, look how things are changing. This is what I'm talking about. See, people don't do the research to show you that voter fraud has been on both accounts. If you keep going, it keeps going on and on and on. Right here, 2008, workers in Seattle, Washington committed the Secretary of State called the worst case of voter registration fraud in the history of Washington. The group submitted 1762 fraudulent voter registration forms. See, what you need to understand is all these electoral colleges, and if you win this many votes, then those electoral voter counts get counted towards that political party. So you go back and you say, well, wait a minute, Washington was blue. So who did the voter fraud? Was it the Democrats, or did they catch the Republicans again? See, we would like to think that this thing is one-sided. It's not one-sided. So who am I to say that voter fraud didn't occur? I don't know. But what I do know is the world now knows. If they don't know, then they'll believe it. They got their blinders on. That America's inherently racist. Because why are you treating black people and those who are in support of their lives differently than a majority group of white people in the support of white supremacy storming the second most secure building in the world? I mean, maybe the Kremlin in Russia is secure too. But the point I'm making is no one died. No one died. No one died. And if they did, I didn't hear about it. But I know Black Lives Matter, even during the protests, black people were still getting killed in the street. Black people were still getting racially profiled. Black people were still being discriminated upon. That's what I know. That's what you know. This is the issue in our country. And I'm glad it happened. Oh yeah, I'm glad it happened. See, I don't like to want to see this thing just one-sided. Oh, I'm just going to look at the blue side. Well, they try to stop Joe Biden becoming president. And you know what? 2 years from now, I want all of you to let me know, how did your lives change under Joe Biden? Just as well as people let everybody know how their lives didn't change under Donald Trump. Here's another one. 2008, during the presidential debate, the question presented itself to Barack Obama. Are you in support of ADOS, of reparations, American descendants of slaves, black people? Are you in support of reparations? Barack Obama in North Carolina during this debate, 2008, before he became president, he said, I'm in support of reparations for the North Carolina school system. That is what that Negro said. Now, let me tell you something about Barack Obama. I think he was a fine president for the people. I have nothing against Barack Obama. But when it comes to the question of what he did and did not do for black people, the answer to that is nothing. It's nada, zero, zilch. And now, before the presidential debate, Barack Obama was pandering black people to go out and vote. Vote for what? People want to know why the NBA stopped protesting after one day. Because Barack Obama told them, hey man, y'all should go ahead and bounce balls. You guys go ahead and play basketball. He called Dwayne Wade, he called Chris Paul, he called LeBron James and say, hey man, I know what you guys trying to do, but I need to watch basketball. There's no entertainment on TV. And they started playing basketball the very next day. They protested for one day. What protest happened one day? But see, when the largest coon in the nation calls you and you got black pride, but you're blind. You have black pride, but you're blind. You say, yeah, maybe we should go ahead and play basketball. I can get my other championship ring, you know. And that's their prerogative. But don't think they was not persuaded by Barack Obama, because they were. And if you guys listen very carefully, a lot of his interviews with the Breakfast Club and all these other media outlets, just like, wait a minute, what is he talking about black people? Act like we have not been disenfranchised and marginalized. Like our neighborhoods wasn't redlined. Like the Highway Act put highways through black communities. Like we could not get jobs, like we could not create jobs because we couldn't get banking loans, even though we had great credit back in the day. I'm tired of this notion that black people should pull themselves up by their bootstraps, and then other black people actually pound their chest like, yeah, I did it, you can do it. Not everybody can do it, because if they could, they would. Our neighborhoods are over-policed, and in some cases, under-policed. But see, we don't get this sort of action right here, do we? We can't play tug of war with the barricades in front of the Capitol. I'm glad this happened. These are people like they're on a tour. You see these people? They're on a tour. This guy's in front now. He doesn't look white. He looks like a white Hispanic. And that's why I told you, not all white people stormed the Capitol. It was white people and those in support of white supremacy. Look at this guy in the back. He looks Hispanic as well. But they will let you know that there's some sort of black-brown coalition out here in support of each other. No, it is not. There's no such thing as a black-brown coalition. Only thing you need to listen to is, what's the chick's name? Excuse my language. The lady's name. Ocasio-Cortez. Have you seen how her story changes throughout the year? First, she said, what is black? Then she said, I'm an Afro-Latina. I'm like, which one are you? Like, ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand the politics in this country and stop letting white media influence you and project things into your subconscious. And then you start speaking the same things. Not every Trump supporter is racist. Somebody got upset. Not every Trump supporter is racist. In that case, we have a lot of black people, we have a lot of Hispanic people in support of white supremacy and racism. Do you know that some people, don't matter the color, voted for Donald Trump simply for their business? Are all of them racist? That's the question you have to ask yourself. See, when certain news outlets like CNN, MSNBC, they pander and they fearmonger black people. Now, I got another question for you guys. Just looking at some of these pictures right here. I'm going to show you again. I got to show you these pictures again because this is just. Do you see anybody out here dancing? Do you see anybody out here twerking? Do you see anybody out here doing the electric dam slide? But I saw that during voting. I saw that during voting. This is how white supremacy divides black people. Because we don't have an agenda. We let those political powers with a black face influence us to come out in droves like we are voting for change. Have you noticed since Martin Luther King got assassinated, we have been marching and protesting in the streets since the 60s, and nothing has changed for black people? When are you going to know that the real power, did you know that the real power, and some of you are going to be like, oh, our ancestors died for the right to vote. I want you guys to understand that one statement. They died for us the right to vote, the right to vote. Not that you should. The power comes when you relinquish the vote. The power comes when you hold the vote. The power comes when you say, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, if you don't wipe away implied immunity, if you don't give black people reparations, if you don't start punishing race soldiers and police brutality in the streets of killing melanated people, then we're not going to vote. But the problem is we get black politicians in front of our face and we're voting for this. And we're voting for health care. And we're voting for this. And they divide the black vote. But 87% of black people voted for Joe Biden. And nothing has changed. See, when we march in the street, you don't see this. You don't see a tug of war with the police. You see guns drawn, pepper spray. You see the National Guard. You don't see this. Oh, no. You don't see the Secret Service barricaded inside of a room. ready to shoot somebody who enters the room. You don't see that, do you? You don't see a mass parade of us just roaming through the halls of the Capitol, because we'd be dead by now. We would have made it through the front door. But a lot of you would like to believe that we live in a democracy, because that's what the white news media says. We live in a democracy, but they know that majority of you are not going to read. Everybody is an Instagram, Facebook, YouTube video whore. Everybody's want to watch the revolution. You want to read about previous revolutions. You don't want to become intelligent and understand history. You just want to watch it. I just want to be entertained. I don't care what's going on. I don't want to know about history. This is why we get treated like this. This is why we get treated like this, because for one thing, I noticed that these white supremacist race soldiers, domestic terrorists, are unified. Are unified. Are unified. Again, I would like to point out there's no black-brown coalition. Black people, we got to fend for ourselves. If people want to come with us, they got to follow our agenda. But this is not the way that we should go about this being divided. And this is the problem. That's one thing that these a.k.a. Trump supporters have on us: unification and the will to act. They understand we can't do nothing without action. Protesting alone does nothing. Rioting alone does nothing. You would think that some of these guys will wear masks, that they got jobs. Some of you would believe that all these guys are just hillbillies. Nope. They own businesses. They're CEOs. They're high level. These guys are all not what you see. They got military equipment on. Some of these guys are private military. Oh, yeah, all those damn private military people are crazy. Well, there's Democrat private military. I guess all of those are crazy. Don't see this one way. I want you to see it two ways. Let me see what you guys are talking about. I done ranted and raved enough. Let me see what you guys are talking about. Let me see what you guys are talking about. Emma Flores says, these are racist Trump lovers. Not saying Trump is racist, but whoa, lots of racists love that guy. That's true. You know what, Flores, I like to point out that fact right there, because Democrats has pandered to black people and fearmonger black people so much. We believe that Donald Trump is a racist without any proof of evidence. Oh, well, he told the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. I don't know if that's racist. Now, if you ask my personal opinion, do I believe he's in support of white supremacy? Hell yeah, 1,000%. But when it comes to the proof and evidence, I don't see any that Donald Trump is a racist. I don't. Now, he may be a sexist. He may be a feminist. He goes and molests and sexually harass women. He's definitely that. He said it himself. Penny stock investor is definitely a double standard. Clyde Lawrence, they were all prepared in advance for black protesters in the street. Then how ill prepared and welcome they were yesterday. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And again, I would like to point out all the police agencies and law enforcement agencies in the DC area. The CIA, okay, the FBI, the NSA, the Capitol Police, the DC Police, the White House Police. DC is the most police city in the world. We have all the major police headquarters in DC, but they didn't know all these white people that was parading down the street. Trump won. Make America great again. We're going to storm the Capitol. We're going to go in Nancy Pelosi's office and put our feet up on the table. These people were too disrespectful. These racists were the ones that got Trump elected. I personally believe they did because Obama was president. No. I disagree. You're saying that these 700 people, 500 people, wasn't he? I don't think he was in 1,000, but it just seemed like a lot because they were all on the Capitol. But these were not the only ones that got Donald Trump elected. It was black people. It was Hispanic people. It was Asian people who wasn't present today. In my neighborhood here, Most of the supporters are here are Trump supporters. I talk to them every day. That's their political affiliation. I can care less. I can care less. There's a white family that live next door to us. We invited them over. We was playing Uno. They brought up politics, and they were talking about, Donald Trump is a racist and da 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 da. Yeah, that's what I did. You guys vote for Joe Biden? We're not political here. What? Man, we don't really talk politics. That conversation died. See, it's like catch and release. Catch and release. They try to catch us. No, we're not going to have that conversation with you guys. It seems fake for some reason. Secret Service was supposed to shoot at least 50 people. I agree. But this is the so-called American democracy that you guys voted for. The democracy is not even in the Constitution. I just want to keep driving home, nailing home that point. Wendell says, Lord, this country is a piece of work. Indeed it is, sir. Wendell, he let the cat out the bag. I'm reading the chat room. Obama the tether. Yes, he is. He's an anchor, baby. Obama the tether. We need and see, that's the thing with black people don't understand. Yes, Michelle Obama is a foundational black American. She was born here, raised here, etc. Obama's father is from Kenya. His mother is from Kansas. He grew up some of his life in Indonesia and the rest of his life in Hawaii. He did not have a black experience, ladies and gentlemen. I digress. I'll leave it right there because I know a lot of you Obama supporters, you love Obama. Again, when Obama was in power, he was a good president for the people. But again, he pandered, fear-mongered black people into voting this time and did nothing for us when he was president. And when they asked him about reparations, go back to the 2008 debate that was in North Carolina, and you'll see exactly what he said. Don't take my word for it. Let's see here. Rob, let's be honest, man. They can't shoot these whites yet. You can get away with killing blacks because this is accepted. If they kill those white people, then that would show how corrupt things are. I disagree. If they would have shot these good white folk that stormed the Capitol, that entered unlawfully, that was trespassing on federal government land, if they would have shot them, that would have showed us how this country may be changing for the better because black, brown, and white are getting killed alike. That's what I believe. I believe exactly what Learning said. Learning said at least 50 people should have got shot and killed. I agree. But I disagree, like, oh, to show how corrupt things are. No. It would show how equal things are becoming. That's just what I believe. Rob also says by making these things about race or political party, they can blur the line and make certain activities acceptable. I agree. Good point. I agree, sir. I have nothing to say on my comment. That was magnificent. Clyde Lawrence says a sense of ownership and entitlement on display yesterday was just an exhibition of what we ignore in society daily. That was excellently said, sir. But what you're saying is basically that these white good people that's in support of white supremacy stormed federal land and did not get harmed. Thank you for noticing that. Thank you. Very good. Voting is fraud. Woo! Ashley Hawkins. That, you know how somebody say something very powerful? They don't say much. That was good, Ashley. I like that. NAACP claimed that they're political neutral. No, they're not. You know they're Democrats. West Coast Bobby said they should have arrested all those terrorists. I agree. But see, what they don't tell you guys is this: that 14 law enforcement agencies were hurt. 14 law enforcement agencies were hurt, and none of these white supremacists got killed. Oh man, Joy E says when it was Black Lives Matter, they called us criminals, but now they white, they call them protesting. Exactly. I like the Pinocchio's nose, by the way. Let's see what Rob's saying. If Trump is racist, then Biden is basically KKK. I agree. Thank you. He literally said he looks up to known racists like James Eastland. He also didn't want blacks going into white school districts. Exactly. Thank you for posting the truth for a change. Not you, but people. People who like to blur the lines. People like to blur the lines. Benicia Davis says they said 4 people died. 1 was shot and the others had heart attacks and stuff. I think it's a bunch of BS. I think it is too. That's the first time I even heard of that. You know why they caught them damn heart attacks? All them fat white people trying to climb the wall. They were without a picture and they were trying to climb the wall. Oh my God. If these were black people scaling the wall of the Capitol, they would have been dead. You see all these people, they try to climb the wall. That's why they call heart attacks. They would have been dead. Okay? They would have been dead. This is the country that we live in, ladies and gentlemen. If they were black, no. This wouldn't have happened if they were black. Let's just put it. Wendell says, no disrespect to non-foundational black Americans from Africa and the Caribbean. White supremacy uses them as tethers against FBAs. Wendell, thank you. I mean, you're saying it better than I could ever say it. I stumble a little bit every now and again, but sir, you on point. Most of the coons who speak against foundational black Americans, people who roots stem from here, come from the Caribbean, Africa. Now, I'm not saying that all Caribbean folk are coons. I'm not saying all African folk are coons, but they come over here to our country and tell foundational black Americans what we should and should not do, and that we don't deserve reparations. Well, I would like to say all of those African and Caribbean nations that I want to visit, why didn't you come get us? We understand that the Ashanti tribe out of Ghana is one of the most notorious tribes that sold a lot of their own people into slavery. I'm just keeping it 100. Did they come and get us? Now, granted, Ghana's doing a lot of great things to bring African Americans back, but you have a continent of dark-skinned people that knew that slavery was occurring in the US, in the UK, and all around the globe. You had almost 1 billion people. We outnumber white people. You didn't come and get us. But then generations later, you bring your anchor babies and your tethers and your coons over here and tell us what we should and should not do. Well, I came over here and I started a business and now I'm doing great. Okay, immigrants get benefits and they don't like to tell you that. I ain't get benefits like you think. Oh, yes, you did. Yes, you did. Now they can see. And see, when they get pulled over, a lot of these immigrants from all these different countries, and again, I just want to point this out. There's a lot of Caribbean and Africans that come over here that are our support of Foundation Black Americans. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the ones who think they can just come over here and tell us what we should and should not do. We're the only group of people around the globe that continue to fight supremacy and call for what it is. Because we know the worst thing they can do is kill us. That's it. That's it. You already killed a bunch of it. Does it matter anymore? But you come over here, these tethers, these coons, these Sambos from other nations, and they are in support of white supremacy. Anybody remember that Caribbean lady who was in the middle of Black Lives Matter protests calling foundational Black Americans lazy? Oh, well, you know, I wish I did have a chance to be lazy, but I can't get a damn job because I'm Black. And then they convince some of us, okay, they convince some of us that we are what they say we are. How in the hell are you from a different country? Because here's the thing. If you went over to the Caribbean, if you went over to Africa and you spoke out against the government, if you spoke out against the people, your ass would be dead or in jail. They don't allow it. They don't allow it. See, when you go to World Star, the people who run World Star are from the Caribbean. A lot of these social media outlets that you guys go to, Urban One, all these, they're ran by either Africans or people from the Caribbean. Look at where they're from. They only display Black disgrace. These are the ones who always showing you trash. They never show you positive news because they understand that they're just feeding you junk and you guys fall right into it. Every single time. Every single time. They only feed you trash and you guys just eat it up and just gossip about it. But you don't hear about the 14-year-old Black kid in MIT in his third year who's a genius. You didn't hear about that one, did you? You didn't hear about the 12-year-old Black girl who was in her first year of college who is a genius, who created her own software program. See, they don't tell y'all that. Y'all go to WordStar, Hip Hop, the Shade Room. Y'all go to all these different, this trashy website. And these are tethers. These are anchors. These are coons. These are Sambos from other countries, most likely. Look it up for yourself. Look at where they're from. But when we go look at this, ladies and gentlemen, we got our hands up. Don't shoot. Black Lives Matter. This is what we go through. This is the difference in this country. I am glad that these white domestic terrorists stormed the Capitol building, because hopefully the rest of the world wakes up and say America has a huge race problem. See, some people are going to chop this up as a political thing. This is more about race than it is political. This is more about race than it is political because it shows you the difference in behavior in the police and law enforcement when it comes to peaceful protests of melanated people and their supporters, because I understand there was a lot of white people out there, Hispanic people out there. But on the other hand, non-peaceful protests, you actually infiltrate the nation's capital where high-level politicians conduct business. And you parade around the halls. You go inside of different offices where there's sensitive paperwork and documents inside of here, and you guys just put your feet up on the table. Ashley Hawkins says we need to stop calling ourselves Black. I agree. We should be calling ourselves Nubian or Moors. I see where you're going there with that, Ashley. I get you. Wendell says, no, let me see. I've read that. Clyde Lawrence says, knowledge and a sense of responsibility are what we need to adopt to combat properly the problems in society. The circus on display yesterday. Indeed. Robbie Robb says, exactly. If we didn't sell out our own people first and fought to the death like the Native Americans, we would have been where we are now. A lot of us might not be here, but we'd be better off pride-wise. I agree. So here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. From these white supremacists storming the Capitol, there's a lot that we can learn from them. They're like they're on a tour in the Capitol. Where's their tour guide at? They're just in the Capitol taking pictures, recording, storming the Capitol, fighting police, secret services. But we can learn a lot from these white supremacists. Look at them, all in the hall of the Capitol. We can learn a lot from these white supremacists. They were organized, they were unified, and they took action. I am not saying we should do anything close to what they did, but here are the principles that I believe that we can learn. Stop letting every single political issue divide us as a people. Some of you are voting just for health care. Some of you are voting for voter suppression. Like, let's wipe away voter suppression. Some of you are just voting for to get rid of police brutality. Some of you are voting for equality. Some of you are voting for empowerment. Here's a notion. I just want you to think about it. And I don't want you to bring up that your ancestors died for you to right to vote. That's right. Right. It means that it's a choice, that you actually have a choice. See, we went wrong when we voted and we didn't ask for tangibles for our vote. And everybody would like to beat up our brother Ice Cube, but that's what he was trying to say. Once you give up your leverage, once you give up your bargaining chip, you now can no longer bargain. Well, I'm voting because Donald Trump is a racist. I'm gonna get him out of it. Tell me when Donald Trump was a racist. What did he say? What did he do? Now sexual implications and harassment. Yes. This is where we need to be unified. We need to pick one thing. We're not going to vote until you give us reparations. We're not going to vote until you wipe away implied immunity. So when the police kills an unarmed black person, they go to jail. But see, we didn't do that. We let the Democrats pander us and fearmonger us to voting because of racism. But we can learn a lot from these white supremacists. Organized, unified, and they took action. And there's something that we can take from the Native Americans. See, if you guys know the story about the Black Seminoles, so the Seminole Nation back down here in Florida, hundreds of years ago, they gained their independence by fighting. Because if you look up the Black Seminole Wars, there was like 2 to 3 wars that Seminoles integrated with runaway slaves. So they had Seminoles, Black Seminoles, where we teamed up with that group of Native Americans and they fought for their freedom. See, in order for people to be in power, power is not given, it's taken. And this is what they did. They tried to take power back and give it to Donald Trump. So hopefully next time you guys have a wild hair about why you think you're voting, then understand what we didn't ask for this election. Robbie Robb says 1,000. We never asked for tangibles. All these years of marching, what did we get? A black president. And what did we get? Nothing. Nothing. I want you guys to think about this. Now, some of you guys who are joining me today, this is Financial Literacy 101. I mostly do financial videos, but today, every now and again, I get a kick up. And, I get a wild hair where I want to talk about issues like this. I would love to follow up with this video. And anybody who wants to join me on this live cast, I'll put a link in the description. But let's do a follow-up of this. I would like to talk about this one more time. But I would like to have you guys to come in and give some of your commentary. Let me know. And matter of fact, I got a couple more minutes. If anybody wants to come here live with me, either with or without your video, I just want to hear what some of you guys have to say about this. What do you think should have occurred? What do you think the police should have done? What do you think would have occurred or happened to black people? If you want your thoughts, your words to be heard, click the link in the chat room. You can join with or without your video, and we'll hear you right here so the rest of the people can hear what you got to say. I'll stay for a couple of minutes. If nobody wants to talk, then I'll be getting off. But we need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, if you want real people to listen to instead of your regular news, I'll give you a couple of people to listen to. Go to Dr. Boyce Watkins' channel. Listen to him. Go to Professor Black Truth channel. Listen to him. Go to the Black Authority channel. Listen to him. Go to Tariq Radio YouTube channel. Listen to him. Go to TD Hip Hop Media and listen to him. These are the people who are in support of foundational Black Americans and the reasons why we should and should not vote. And then you will see how they change the narrative and perspective that you may have in the difference of you looking at white media all the time and you actually listen to Black people who are for you.